Why is flattening global education important? And what does flattening global education actually mean? It means, I don't think people really understand when I say flatten global education or leveling the playing field. What it means is allowing the opportunity for anyone in the world with internet access, with broadband access, to get a complete education through online. And it's hard to understand because most of the applications that we see right now are I don't know if non-autonomous agents. They're non-autonomous. They're not. You have to drive yourself. You have to be able to read. You got to click. You got to navigate. Okay, that is a non-autonomous agent. An autonomous agent, a web in the future. I think web devices are going to be more autonomous agents, which mean you're actually on a ride through the, I call the experience in this case. So education becomes a ride that's being provided to you through the web. And you sit back and you enjoy the ride. You answer the questions, you move on. Some stuff's easy, some stuff's hard. If it's hard, you have to take longer to learn it. If it's easy, you move past through it and you move to the next stage. But having a flat level education system is, in a way, it's like when Gandhi repealed the tax on the product that the Indians were making, on the stuff that the British Empire, we were taxing the tea, and they were, and it wasn't fair. Why should we be paying tax on tea that's grown here, that export, that why are we being subject to this? And in a way, the taxation of education is no different. In the sense we call fees. I spent over $100,000 for an education, and I still owe money to it. I'm not paying it, but I still owe money to it. And so many families go into debt for this, for this thing they call education, which should be provided, should be given, just like healthcare should be given. It's a natural right for everyone. And the reality is at some point humanity has to evolve, and we have to overcome our pettiness and our ignorance and our naivety, and the only way to do that is through education. So the moment that we can provide everyone with the same standard and level of education as everyone else, in my view, a better education that you can get now at any leading university, because the education you have there is limited to the professors you have, and the education I'm talking about, you'd have access to the top professors all over the world. So inherently, it's going to be better. And the fight is no different than what Mandela did in South Africa for equality and for justice of all people. I mean, it's the same continuation of the same fight, and it's something that is what needs to happen and what needs to be done. So, and here's another thing I'll throw out there. Have you ever heard of the analogy that, it's like if we build a rocket ship right now to Alpha Centauri, which is our closest star, it's really stupid because the next generation of rocket ship is going to get there so much quicker, right? Because technology changed and everything else. Well, I believe that is for education. So, and I'm going to try to explain it. Everything we're working on right now, planetary geoengineering, the sciences, math, everything we're doing right now, could be exponentially increased if we had a global education rocket in place. Because how much intellectual waste are we subjecting ourselves to now, because we're not allowing billion people access to an education that only a few get. Think of that. If we gave people access to the best possible education, what do you think the payback would be on the war against terrorism, on the war against AIDS or aging or anything else, on what would be the payback? And I would think that it'd be exponentially higher. So for $300 million, I'm going to say it's $300 million. Okay, so for $300 million, let's just say it's $300 million, not 150. I'm going to double it. For $300 million, the return on that investment, the ROI for that investment for humanity, is so exponentially huge, we can't afford not to flatten global education. Because everything we do, whether it is trying to control population, whether it is trying to get, everything we do is based on information, is based on education. So if we have a platform that distributes information, education, to anyone that has access to broadband, then what have we done? I think we have reached a new threshold for humanity. So that's why I think what I'm working on, what Eduit's working on, is the most important item for humanity right now. I think it is. I'd like to argue with anyone, what is it? Fusion, fission, and because ultimately what we do will impact everything else. Michael Trout. I'm the founder, revolutionist behind the Singularity Initiative, trying to bring sense to this world by flattening education. Thank you.